It's called Stop the Mugging, Start the Hugging.
Can you sing a little bit?
Yep. People all over the world, all ladies, men and girls and boys, stop the mugging and start the hugging and tidy up the world.
Sometimes an up-tempo song could be better.
People all over the world, all ladies, men and girls, stop the mugging, start the hugging and tidy up the world. Hello, my name's Danny Wallace.
I'm 28 years old and I live in Bow, East London. Well, kind of. You see, a little over 6 months ago, I decided to start my very own country. My journey was nearly complete, and things were really coming together. I'd claimed my flat as my territory and declared it an independent state.
I'm starting my own country. I'm just off to tell Tony.
I got thousands of citizens who were all using my currency and voting on my website. I'd even got some professional help with my flag, my passports and my kingly attire.
43 chest.
I am puffing myself up a bit there.
I'd formed a government,
Cheers. The government.
drawn up my constitution, and I'd laid down the law.
I think we just need the one.
Which is?
Be good.
The only thing I had left to do was convince the rest of the world that I was a real country. I needed international recognition. I thought the best way of getting it would be to become a member of a club like the United Nations. So to find out more, I'd arranged a meeting in Brussels.
So, my flight leaves in about 45 minutes, and I've got my passport right here. See? King Danny. And that's me. Hiya, you alright?
You alright? Where are you off to?
Brussels, please.
I've never seen a passport like this before, actually.
Well, they're new. You haven't seen one like that before because they're quite new. See, that's me. That's my picture.
Yeah, I can see it's got your picture on it. But unfortunately, it's not a recognised valid document to travel.
Well, that's a bit insulting. You're saying it's not a valid, recognised passport. I mean, there's no one you can call, I suppose, and just explain the situation.
No, I mean,
you can't call anyone.
If you don't have a valid document, which
well, it is. I mean,
it's
valid.
Not in this book,
well,
you see.
Well, what's that? I mean, that's not a valid book as far as I know.
Well, it is. It's the travel information manual. It's set by airlines.
Right, that's quite valid then, I suppose.
Yeah, it's quite valid.
Well, it's a little bit annoying.
I apologise.
All right. Well, thank you. Cheers.
Undeterred, I finally made it to Brussels with the aid of my British passport. I'd arranged a meeting at the UN Information Centre to find out what I'd need to do to become a member state.
I feel like I'm going to get mugged. I feel like this is an elaborate setup. This can't be the UN. Someone's just printed that and laminated it and stuck it on a wall in a disused warehouse.
It's the job of Andreas Niklisch to help countries prepare their application for UN membership.
Yes, okay.
Thanks for agreeing to see me.
That's a pleasure.
I represent a very exciting new country, and I've heard that the UN, isn't averse to letting new countries in.
No. On the contrary, if you have a state, if you have a territory, if you have a government, if you abide by the Charter of the United Nations, then of course I don't see there is much of a hindrance for you to join the United Nations. You see, the UN was created as a reaction to the Second World War. It is essentially a system of collective security.
Okay, so right there, straight away, the purposes of the United Nations are to maintain international peace and security. And that's the first sentence. So where should I take it from here?
Your next step would be probably to write the Secretary General to inform him about your intention to become a member of the United Nations.
Hang on, I'll just get...
So you write a formal letter. That essentially is formally all you have to do. Politically, it may be useful to get key support to contact the embassies of the members of the Permanent Five in the Security Council. And also the membership of the United Nations is not quite free, although for small countries like yours, it would be probably 0.001% of the budget.
And what do I get for my money? Is that where does that go? Is that on flags and name badges?
It goes also on flags. This budget essentially is for the running of the essential functions of the organizations. It also pays my salary.
Now I know why you wanted to meet with me.
You see?
Now I know.
See?
I'm a pay rise.
So that's right, exactly.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your support.
When I got home, I got straight to work on my application.
Dear the UN.
I felt confident I was in with a good chance of being accepted.
It's a big letter.
The only thing missing to fulfill their charter was hard proof that I was a peace-loving nation. But I had a little something up my sleeve.
People all over the world, all ladies, men and girls.
Stop the mugging and start the hugging and tidy up the world. People all over the streets, be nice to those you meet. Cut your cusses when on the buses and offer up your seats.
I was sure my song, Stop the Muggin', Start the Huggin', would prove to the UN that I was serious about being a peaceful nation.
Pay attention to the grammar. People all over the land, come join my happy band.
Keen to gain support for my country, I decided the song might be good enough for another vital institution.
Excellent.
The Eurovision Song Contest.
Thanks.
If Europe believed in my song, the UN would have to recognise me.
Hi. I'm Danny.
Hi, I'm Svante.
Convinced I was onto something, I arranged a meeting with the director of Eurovision, Svante Stockselius.
I'm kind of realising that to survive as a country, I need to make friends and get on with them. And that's kind of what Eurovision is. You know, people reaching out, nation unto nation, in a spirit of friendship and joy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Eurovision Song Contest do create friendship. For instance, this year we had Israel and Lebanon now competing in a friendly environment. You know, we have 40 countries participating now. And I mean, that's almost more important to be participating in this contest than be active in political environment.
And what will it do for my kind of profile?
It means a lot because the tourism just go like this. The interest in the country to know more about the country just explodes. Would you sing yourself or?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
All right. So this is a really good opportunity. You will be most welcome.
I will be.
Yeah, there's a couple of things you need to do first.
Right, like?
But first you need to become a member of the European Broadcasting Union. And for that you need a TV station.
Well, I've got a webcam, and sometimes I sit in front of my computer and I make elaborate speeches and spread my wisdom to some of my citizens. So I mean, that in a sense is kind of my broadcasting.
Okay.
Would that count?
It needs to be possible for all the people in your country to see this TV channel. If you can solve that, then I would suggest you apply for a membership.
Svante seemed keen to give my country a chance, but he didn't seem convinced by my broadcasting capabilities.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I had to come up with something.
Nice. A lot to think about.
The UK's entry is supported by the BBC. Because Britain's my closest neighbour, the producers agreed to consider backing my country as well.
Just have a little hug. It's like Madonna and that thing.
Okay.
All we had to do was convince them we could perform it live.
Thank you. Thanks for seeing us.
Hello, I'm King Danny, and these are the citizens of rock. Oh, people all over the world, all ladies, men and girls. Stop the mugging and start the hugging and tidy up the world. People all over the land, come join my happy band. Quit the robbing, go barber jobbing and lend a helping hand. Respect due to the Eurovision crew. I'm here to conquer Europe, second place will never do. It's time to save the planet and the doping's on crack. Rewind your videos before you take them back. People all over the world, all ladies, men and girls. And boys. Stop the mugging and start the hugging and let your love unfurl. Vote for me. What do you reckon?
Well, that's an interesting one. It reminds me very much of the Austrian entry from. Was that in Estonia?
It was a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago.
Oh. Have you got? There's more to your performance than we're seeing. Are you planning any gimmicks?
Yeah, well, I was
like
thinking. I mean, you know, that was obviously a first go. We can do it again for as many times as you like.
No,
but
all right.
you really?
Yeah. And these are outfits, planned outfits.
Well, it's not a coincidence. You know, the look is by the by. We can do whatever you like, basically. If we're kind of, you know, if you help us get in there, we'll be your puppets. Well, should we go and we'll look forward to hearing from you?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, all right. think that was all right. That was all right. That was all right. They seemed into it.
I was convinced I was making headway.
Did you see their eyes? The eyes were wide.
And that my dream of competing in the Eurovision was going to become a reality. And the good news didn't stop there.
So, hello. Very exciting news this morning. I got a letter, which is exciting enough anyway. But this letter was from the UN. Basically, they're saying, would you like to come in and discuss your application to join? Which is, it's the UN, and they're saying, come in, we'll talk about it, you can make your case, you can meet someone called Shashi Tharoor. You can meet Mr. Shashi Tharoor and kind of see what happens,
All I had to do now was make the arrangements for announcing my country to the world once I'd been accepted.
Hi, I'm starting my own country.
A couple of days later, I was in town having one last push at boosting my population.
Starting my own country.
Right, that's pretty wicked.
Yeah, so it's leader, teacher, Sadie King.
When I had an idea.
So we pull over. I'm going to tell you something exciting. I've just met a man who's going to rent me Leicester Square. I didn't even know you could rent Leicester Square, and I'm going to invite citizens down, and that's when I'll walk out after my amazing meeting with the UN, and that's when I'll say, ladies and gentlemen, we have a country. That's going to be the best moment of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to London's Leicester Square. My name is King Danny. And the UN has said yes. OS map. Proof.
I gathered everything I needed to convince the UN and to prove to the world I was a proper country.
National debt. Every country needs one. Citizens are important.
In fact, the only thing missing was a name. My citizens had been sending in loads of ideas. I decided to use the journey to the UN to think it over. By the time I'd arrived in New York, I'd narrowed it down to just two, home and lovely. But I just couldn't decide which one I liked best. In true democratic style, I decided I'd let my citizens vote for their favourite. In the meantime, I had to get ready for my showdown at the UN, my meeting with Shashi Tharoor.
This whole kind of journey has been heading towards some kind of recognition. My greatest fear is that he's just going to think, he's going to humour me, but I don't want that. I have to convince him, beyond all doubt, that my country is not only valid, legitimate, real, but that I deserve entry into the United Nations. And I think I do.
The next day, I got up early. I was nervous. It felt like the pinnacle of my 6-month journey to try and start my own country had finally arrived.
Just revising. Thanks, mate. I'll give you a call. Hi, hello. Am I allowed to go through?
This was it. This was my moment.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Danny.
And I'm Shashi Tharoor. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for meeting with me.
Glad to have you here.
Great.
Come on.
Over here. Brilliant. Oh. So, I don't know if you've heard much about me.
Well, I've heard you're about to start your own country.
I've started it.
I see.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Well, I mean, technically, it's in London. But, I mean, it's my own thing. I've done it all properly. I've got a government. I've got various ministers who are in charge of various parts of everyday life. I'm quite excited to show you kind of stuff. I have thought this through. I mean, this, for example.
Are you fully familiar with it?
Fully familiar. You can test me on any of that. I share all the ideals of the UN, which I believe is kind of part of what would get me in. Look, I've done a whole constitution. Where, I've got kind of human rights are fully guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. You're a peace-loving state, are you?
Exactly, and
that's what the Charter requires.
So I'm kind of hoping that if that doesn't convince you, other things will.
So far, you haven't passed the test of having your own territory.
You've got to give me this chance.
It's a chance that I think you probably will do a great deal to earn, Danny, but you first need yourself a territory.
What about my cyber nation?
Now, that's a very intriguing idea, because the great difficulty with the cyber nation is precisely the fact that we are still anchored in an old-fashioned concept of statehood that requires physical territory. But increasingly we're getting to a stage where some of our member states are afraid that their physical territory might disappear as a result of global warming. The leader of Tuvalu, for example, said, we're one of the most recent member states of the United Nations, but the way in which the waves are rising, our country might disappear. And Tuvalu might find itself in a position where the state exists, it's a member of the UN, but it no longer has a territory. If it gets to that stage, then we may have to absolutely rethink the question of what constitutes a state. We haven't got to that stage yet. And it's easier to get there from starting off with the territory than starting the way you're doing, which is a cyber presence and no physical presence.
Well, I don't want it all just to crumble the day I arrive here at the UN. I need something.
What you need, basically, is evidence which have to go beyond anyone can write a constitution, Danny. Oh, you have a flag as well.
I've got a flag. I've got everything. That's your evidence. I've got badges. I give these to all my citizens. Everyone's an ambassador. This I've got. There's your evidence.
That sounds very impressive. I'm not sure that alone is going to deliver very much for you. What you need is a physical space, a permanent population, a functioning independent government. I'm afraid it's going to have to be nice try, but no cigar.
This is quite tough to take. I thought by now we'd be kind of, signing things together, a kind of peace treaty, but I guess not today.
Well, we aren't at war yet, so we don't need a peace treaty, but we'll get there. Thank you.
All right, I'll get my stuff together.
But that's too good a flag to waste. I suspect you might well find potential takers.
Well, I can pop this downstairs on one of the flagpoles if you...
We would strongly object to that, I'm afraid. Right. So I wouldn't want you trying to do that before you've actually been admitted. But
okay.
All right?
Thank you.
All the very best.
Thanks anyway.
Good luck in your quest.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Not even the flag, I really thought this would be kind of, and actually a little bit, I just thought that probably that would be it,
I was distraught. I couldn't believe it. But I'd come too far. I couldn't give up that easily.
I need an ambassador, basically. Having a bit of a dodgy day.
Maybe if I could gain key international support, the UN might reconsider my bid.
Well, what have you got?
Doesn't make any sense.
Is it here? Does this work?
Can I help you?
Yes, hello. I need to meet an ambassador. I need to find an ambassador.
Can you talk into the microphone? I'm having trouble listening, hearing. Thank you.
Like that?
That's better.
Okay. I need to meet an ambassador. I don't know if there are any ambassadors around.
Oh, really? Anybody in particular? Could you be more specific?
What have you got? This is great of you.
Yeah, they have rules. They can't just send you up to a restricted area.
Right.
You're going to need to get an escort.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
And if I can call someone, maybe I can meet up with them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. This is good. This is really, really, really good. Okay, so after some lengthy negotiations, they've given me the number essentially for the Swiss ambassador. And if I can call him, or his press secretary, or whoever, and get them to agree to meet with me, maybe I'm still in with a shot. I met with Shashi Tharoor.
I managed to get through to someone in his office, and they promised to call back. I didn't know if they would.
Oh. Hello? Yeah, no, absolutely. No, whatever's good for him. He's literally only got like 5 minutes. So, I mean...
The Swiss ambassador, Peter Maurer, had just finished a meeting in the General Assembly, and if I got there quickly, he'd promised to see me before lunch.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, I'm Danny.
Very nice meeting you.
Thank you very much. Good to see you. For the last 6 months, I've been working incredibly hard. I've started my own country. That's what I'm doing. I'm a king. This is my flag. I've got everything. This is my whole file. I've got flyers and leaflets. I've got a constitution. I've done everything I can. All for this moment. I just want in here. I want to take my seat alongside people like you.
You are doing very interesting endeavors, but you can't be recognized as a member of the United Nations. You have to be a real country.
I am.
With territory, with borders.
I've got borders, I've got territory, I've got a flag. I've got everything. I just need some recognition. Ich bin halb Schweiz. Ich brauche deine Hilfe. Wir sind wie Brüder. Sehr geehrter Herr Maurer. Bitte, hilf mir.
This is very kind, Annie, but you can only be recognized to become a member of the United Nations if you have a recognized territory, if you have borders.
There are borders. I've got a map. I had the Ordnance Survey people round to the flag. But
your first step is that you have to settle your claim and to your ideas with the United Kingdom.
But I went to Downing Street and I delivered my Declaration of Independence. And I left my mobile
They
number.
obviously didn't recognize this is not what qualifies to become a member of the United Nations.
Could I at least say that I've met with the Swiss ambassador and he said yes?
It is up to the United Kingdom's government to decide whether they want to receive...
This sounds like a yes. This sounds like you're saying I should go for it. I should follow my dream.
I didn't say that.
This is brilliant news.
No, you can't take that as brilliant.
When I tell Tony, and I'll go, it's me and Switzerland together at last.
Once again, I told you to follow the rules and procedures which...
Thank you. This is brilliant. It's me and you. Here's you. I'm going to be here. I'll change. I don't have the name for the country yet, but I'm going to make sure it begins with S.
I'm extremely doubtful whether the two of us will see that happen. But
Thank you.
I can only encourage you to use the British institutions to articulate your ideas.
This is brilliant. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Me and you.
I don't know if it was out of sheer desperation or simply wishful thinking.
This is brilliant.
But it wasn't until I got home that I realised the Swiss ambassador hadn't actually said yes at all.
I'd really thought that that would be it, you know. I really thought that the UN would embrace me with open arms. Add to that the fact that when I got home, I got an email from the BBC saying that my Eurovision entry, Stop the Mugging, Start the Hugging, wasn't up to standard. Have they seen Eurovision? I should have maybe waited before booking Leicester Square. And it was when I was going through all the emails that I've received from citizens, when I was collecting email addresses and getting ready to email them all and say please don't turn up, that I realised something that I think is actually quite important. I've got something really special with my country, because it is a country. And I'll tell you why it's a country. Because I've got belief. The citizens all believe in the country. I'm not saying they believe it's a country, that's just a given, but what I mean is they actually believe in the country. Every day I get emails from citizens saying that they're part of something and they're enjoying being part of something, and what's next and what should we do and how should we make things better. You know, I don't believe Tony Blair gets up every morning and goes through 100 or so emails from happy British citizens just going, "Hi Tony, it's quite nice here, isn't it?" I don't believe that happens in France or Germany or Spain or Italy or America or Japan or China, but it happens here every single day. And that makes mine a pretty unique country. So Leicester Square is still on.
I had a dream in which we created a country, a nice country, a country based on good manners, on politeness, on optimism, a country we could be proud of. The UN has turned us down. And the Eurovision told us to pack our jumpers and get stuffed. But you, the people of this country, you have said yes! I am proud to tell you that our country continues to grow. We are not only bigger than the Vatican City in Rome, we are bigger than Tuvalu. We have more citizens than Nauru, Palau, San Marino. And in recent days, we've become greater than both Monaco and Liechtenstein. So far in our journey, we have been a country without a name. Tonight, we will choose a name. You, the people, have voted. You have had your say. The result is in this envelope. Ladies and gentlemen, we are lovely! We're lovely!
Everyone can join my country. Listen if you hear them, maybe you can hear them say, "You've got to teach the world to sing, Daddy, what is this to do?"
I knew in that moment that I had done it. I had my very own United Nation. And it was lovely. If you'd like to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Lovely, visit me at citizensrequired.com. Or if you're a digital viewer, press red now for more from The Gathering.